Trending on the news media and internet is the headline that Pope Francis supports gay unions. This was captured from a recent documentary on Pope Francis titled Francesco, which was alleged to contain comments from the Pope having said, and I quote, "Homosexuals have a right to be a part of the family. They are children of God and have a right to a family. Nobody should be thrown out or be made miserable because of it. What we have is to create a civil union law. That way they are covered." I stood up for that. Several reactions sprang up from this statement ascribed to Pope Francis. Has the church changed from her magisterial position on homosexuality? Did Pope Francis actually say these things? What did Pope Francis actually say? These are the important questions we should ask ourselves. Let us find this out. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit the red subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to keep you alert whenever I upload new contents. God bless you. First of all, it is worth stating that the interview was conducted in Spanish and Pope Francis spoke in Spanish. Secondly, the Pope was misquoted and misinterpreted by the director of the documentary, Evgeny Afinesky, who translated convivencia civil to civil union instead of civil coexistence. Finally, the interview was heavily edited and the context by which the Pope spoke was lost. Catholic news agency CNA confirms this on their websites, and it is worth reading to understand the context by which the Pope spoke, for it contains the full manuscript of the interview. I urge you to search below this video and follow the link to read the full article by the Catholic News Agency. On the first issue raised by the statement ascribed to Pope Francis, that him saying that homosexuals have rights to family, he offers a kind of tacit endorsement of adoption by homosexual couples. Now listen to the full text of the response of Pope Francis, and I quote, "I was asked a question on a flight after it made me mad. Made me mad for how one news outlet transmitted it, about the familial integration of people with homosexual orientation, and I said, homosexual people have a right to be in the family. People with homosexual orientation have a right to be in the family, and parents have the right to recognize that son as homosexual, that daughter as homosexual. Nobody should be thrown out of the family or be made miserable because of it." That was the Pope's response when he was asked if people should recognize homosexuals within the society or within the family. His response is very clear, but the media have blown it out of proportion. In fact, I will substantiate what the Pope says here with my own personal experience in ministry. A young girl felt dejected and rejected because of how she was treated at home for her sexual orientation as a homosexual, as a lesbian. She came to me at the confessional and poured out her heart to me. I told her why lesbianism is a sin and why she should desist from it. She claimed to love the person, and I told her that love is disordered. I opened the scriptures and told her love, yes, love comes from God, but when love does not obey the commandments of God, when love loses the elements, the moral elements and the spiritual elements which concerns God, then it is no longer true love, it's disordered. I explained this to her and showed her why she must cut off from such lifestyle and why she should see her act as intrinsically evil and not ordered. After explaining this to her, she took my number and went home. Few days later, someone came to me and told me that her daughter is a lesbian, that she actually directed her to me to make a confession and seek counseling. And I told the woman, I have talked to the young lady, I have counseled her, and I told her to take it easy with her, to love her, accept her within the home, so that she would gradually change from her lifestyle. A few weeks later, this woman also called me to tell me that this young girl have absconded from the house with her lesbian lover, and no one can get to her. She takes no call. But I called her. She took my call. She explained to me why she left home. She felt unloved. She felt rejected. And this is what the Pope is trying to say, that we should accept them. But this was blown out of proportion to mean an endorsement of adoption by same-sex couples. We should beware of this. This was not the intention of the Pope. Again, the Pope is quoted to propose a civil union law for homosexuals, thereby supporting homosexual union. On this, let us listen to Father Agostino Torres, a Catholic priest who understands Spanish, to hear what he tells us.
What did he really say? This is where it really comes in handy to speak Spanish, because he said it in Spanish and the interpretation is like, well, a couple things. But let's listen to what he really said. And I got the clip right here. It pays to have contacts in Central America. And I'm going to translate it to you. I'm going to translate what he said using his language, but translating it as it's really said. Here we go.
Las personas homosexuales tienen derecho a estar en la familia.
Pope Francis said that a homosexual person has a right to be in a family. Some people were saying that, like, oh, well, that means that they have a right to have children and they have the right to have family. But he qualifies his statement with what he says right now. Let's listen in.
Son hijos de Dios, tienen derecho a una familia. No se puede echar de la familia a nadie, ni hacer la vida imposible por esa gente.
He said that you can't just throw somebody out of one's family just because they're homosexual persons. And so this is actually talking about people whose families probably feel that they are rejected from their families because they feel homosexual attractions. This is not what the news outlets are misrepresenting the Pope's words to be. But wait, there's more.
Lo que tenemos que hacer es una ley de convivencia civil. Tienen derecho a estar cubiertos legalmente.
So what Pope Francis just said is that what we have to do is establish a law of civil convivencia civil. It's like the coexistence, civil coexistence. And the way, by his second statement, is that he understanding that is that they have to be protected legally. In other words, homosexual persons have to be protected legally. He's not saying that it is a homosexual civil union, like so many other people are saying.
In conclusion, dearest friends, we live in times when it is difficult to be Christian and Catholic because of the attacks on every side. I urge you, therefore, as Pope Francis warns us in his recent encyclical titled Fratelli Tutti, that we should beware of the illusion of the media. I have also written and said in a video titled The Friend You Must Avoid. I have said that the friend that we must avoid is the media. The media is good, but at the same time can be destructive. As St. Paul advises the early Christians in 1 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 6, so I advise you, do not go beyond what have been written. Then you will not be deceived in being a follower of one of us over against the other. The teachings of the Catholic Church is consistent with the Bible, and they have been compressed for us in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, CCC. I recommend we read up CCC number 2357 to see what the church says about homosexuality and how we should relate with homosexual persons. I also advise that we visit the Vatican website below this video. Check below this video to visit the Vatican website and read up to see what the church teaches on pastoral care for homosexuals and the church's stand on considerations regarding the proposals to give legal recognition to homosexual unions. The Pope have not contradicted any of these profound teachings contained in the Deposit of Faith. God bless you and continue to keep the faith alive.